so much a good look, but Akimbo, that's a map that they had just introduced when they played it against In Control.
Oh my god, Junior's cat, look.
Oh, you're right.
Oh my gosh.
They farmed In Control. That's the point that I was going to make. Whoa, let's go!
S tier production moment here into our last quarterfinal of Season 3 in totality. We have to understand the gravity of our situation as we get sad about this entire thing wrapping up. But don't worry, Season 4 kicking off just towards the end of April.
Yeah, right at the beginning of May. Beautiful. Hit here for Infinite. Junior, obviously the one man in defense of the A bomb site. Bro, can we please just get some profile pictures? I know we have at least
I know we got some pictures
players.
of Snap somewhere, you know what I mean? We can put them up there.
I've seen them. They exist.
I know
they exist, dude.
Got Mason peeking out of CT. He'll fill the piece of George. The pistol striking out of Palace. We know Neo can hit some good shots on this pistol. All down to Snap. He does have the kit. They're going to go and try and swing for the stab. They may be throwing this a bit, but throwing their bodies on the line, that's the bet they take, and they end up striking right through Snap's heart with the stab.
Sliced and diced. That's what happened to Snav right there. And, dude, ridiculous retake, by the way. Voca start walking it back in. And then Neo from Palace is good for a couple. They don't realize that he's there until he's already destroying them. And then he gets a knife. He had already pulled the knife as soon as Snav was alone. He hadn't even gone into the smoke yet. And Neo was already putting that knife to good use.
That's wild. Stop the game right here. We'll end it after 1-0. Akimbo have at least won the honor battle in terms of that. Because this thing is going to get ugly probably pretty quickly. I will not lie. But maybe Voca's slow off the tracks. Who knows if they're still feeling the jet lag. Snap off the ladder. I don't really think that's going to be too serious of a factor. They've been home for a good bit, as you've said. Snap getting shots onto Laxi and gonna recycle the rifle back up to the big man, to Infinite.
Yeah, and it seems like it's probably gonna be heading B eventually as well. And the problem with that situation for Akimbo is that it means that there'll be another AK to be recovered at the top of Connector, I believe. And they still have presence on this B site. That being said, Neo is doing a great job of clearing things out. Never mind. Carson catches him. Head is turned.
Okay, hopping out of this thing. Still can handle it with the MAC-10. It'll be in support. Good shots put up, but protection for a bomb plant. This is a risk that needs to be taken at apt moment. Willing to choose that at this site? You have really just guess about it, and Obi has gotten away with it. Another frag on the Infinite, dropped one of the rifles as well. Voca feel a little frail in this moment, just having George, but the big man comes up with it. MP9 in hand, and George swings out, delivers. 1-1 up for Voca. Already taking Akimbo out of that pistol and all the freebies they would have from it.
Massive recovery out for Voca. I'm loving to see that. Okay, I may be crazy here, Mark, so maybe you can help me. Am I remembering that Voca said that Carson was calling now?
Yes, Carson is transitioning to career in-game leadership in totality. I actually got to have an entire conversation
can we just,
before I interviewed him on camera, and he's quite happy about that, and it goes back a long way. Yeah,
can we just recognize that when he says that, he was a career in-game leader, quote-unquote, forever on Nouns?
Yeah, that's what he was sort of saying to me, was sort of, fully taking that tag off of Snav for this squad in specific, right? That became an official thing at Frag Blocktober. I know the language around that is a little bit ugly, but he made sure to tell me that goes back to, all his time with Nouns and multiple teammates. He told me Cynic helped him a lot, develop skills to actually be a better in-game leadership in terms of the weird stuff that you wouldn't think of, that the average fan wouldn't probably guess is at the tippy top, but it's all the prep that goes on in the background that got to establish, and Carson's willing to grind. They're willing to be under light right now. A4 gonna be flattened after 1. Behind it, Junior's positioning. Nobody's gonna know until Junior gets 1. Absolutely waiting for the spray transfer. He might have seen that shoulder towards bench, but it's gonna be another MP9 under the clutch. I don't think he's been spotted.
No, he hasn't.
Oh my gosh, just absolutely mauls Morrow down to a 1v1, but Neo has all of the protection here. Infinite would have to just find him out in the open, and this is the angle you do not want to go. A second chance, and he may be afraid that Infinite is just sticking it. This is the fight he wished for, and 2 times in a row, Akimbo will pay for it on this B site. A clutch from George, a clutch from Infinite, and they get it done.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny.
What happened?
You didn't catch it, but he insta, and I mean insta, picked up the vape and just hit a fat rip. Oh, that was so funny. Clutch for Infinite, and to be honest with you, that's been the general check for Infinite throughout his time on this Voca roster, and this guy's been a big what if, I think, in the North American scene. Every time you watch him, you're impressed. You love what you see, but then things don't work out. He doesn't necessarily stick around. I think there's a combination of things that went down, both on his end, but then also on like teams not sticking together. And yeah, I'm pumped he has got this opportunity and really flourished with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I believe, you know, for the big opportunity that he got onto Nouns, and, you know, I believe the, you know, first time he attempted to come back after that, Mason will attempt a 1v4. He got a 1v5 in the end of group stage game there versus Farmville, so I had to give that.
I was told about that. Zola let me know the legend.
Yeah, it was wild. I had to give him a little bit of respect there. I'm glad Zola held on to that. His little time here in the NA space, I hope, was enjoyable. But yeah, like, I mean, it was really a shame that, like, circumstances outside of Infinite's control was keeping him away from the game. And, I mean, he's such a fun player to watch, you know? And who knows how those, like, you know, rosters could have turned out. I mean, if Infinite were to, like, have brought that quality onto that Nouns team with, like, you know, Cryptic and Peeping, and I believe Junior, too, if I'm, you know, remembering correctly.
That team was sick. I agree.
Yeah.
I was really, really happy about that team. And unfortunately, Nouns just kaput. We're double smoking window, by the way. Just make sure it's extra smoky.
Can't breathe in there. Mason will force him out that way. He's the man up with the hero rifle at the moment, as the rest of Akimbo will go digging beside him. It's going to be Laxi to try and get his hands on that.
Shot from Neo, though. I mean, these Deagles always are quite capable in the hands of the Mongolians. Kimbo, Rozo, Mexican, to wield the big rifle. He'll trade another one out on B. This is getting them space to work with.
Snapped, may have just spotted a heal back towards Missile Pillar. Will absolutely envelop Obi. Morrow in that moment as well. Junior taking a pretty standard shot into window. Voca going through the motions. I mean, they're seeing what they're up against. The double smokes into window. We're going to kind of say it how it is. Akimbo are, you know, for the betterment of this, just getting started off of their, you know, money crew precipice. This is, you know, not the Akimbo within this core that you saw before, right? They have some, you know, stuff to work on. If that's even the point, right? I was talking about this with Zola. Like, I know that this team is just coming together. I don't know that they're practicing very much at all, which isn't a dig at them. It's just how they came together. Fisher College just made a Tier 1 tournament not practicing. So, it is what it is.
That's a lot different, to be honest with you. Very, like mega different. I'm just saying. Also, I think they do crack a little bit. And on top of that, they play so many officials as Fisher College as well. Like,
with Nealon, you see this?
I did see that, which is sick, by the way. You and I got to call some games that Nealon was in. Very fun. I think that was you and I, surely.
I believe so.
We'll do a
I
little
remember.
fact check.
I mean, I think that wherever that's coming down, it's fun for a couple of reasons. The, you know, momentary evil geniuses situation brought him to North America. It's more for a couple of moments, but
Yeah,
what a
you and I
wild time to
definitely
be
have
alive
called
that
Novak.
was.
We definitely called a game of that.
Oh, Neo 2 out of his deagle. George taps onto Obi, but they're ready, excuse me, to throw their bodies at Junior. Neo added onto the pile. Morrow does find a good timing onto George, though, 2v2. So Laxey's going to slow down. I think make the most of Morrow's positioning.
Yeah, now he's the bigger threat, Morrow, that is. And it looks as well as if Carson worried about the pivot back to B. Understandably, I don't think that Laxey was particularly spotted. He was just in and amongst the T's that were seen coming out A, but no name aggro or recognition there. Oh, it's tough timing for Carson. Could have gotten the kill, but doesn't get the vision in time. Gate made. Morrow into jungle.
Oh, no. Carson actually dodges this. Morrow can't confirm the frag. I feel like big missed opportunity. Miss for George as well. That'll happen. Shots to Laxey, his former teammate from Brave. Nate'll go right behind. Laxey gonna finish this round. What we've been missing from the Mongolian.
I mean, Neo, 2 Deagle headshots, beautiful entries onto A, and it's Morrow's timing that's been wonderful all day already. Early into this, I know, but been impressed with that, and he does it again. Almost able to correct things with Junior, but he misses his shot. And just a little bit of tragic timing for Carson, who looked like he was going to get the kill on Morrow in jungle, but no dice. This is the Neo. I'm going to start calling this the Neo.
Swinging all the way up Cat and just like trying to get this pickup gone.
Yeah,
it's very,
like no utility.
It's very him. Nav swings right out. Think Infinite hungry to get this trade. Oh, a bit of a miss from Neo, but doesn't miss twice. Step back. Still will be a pull from Carson out from positioning of the anchor. He can do a lot here. As I'm afraid Junior won't be willing to negotiate on 14 HP, but he's just got his spot back in CT.
Carson's right into this pretty nicely.
Oh,
Obi was already low. Morrow just collected the bomb. As I was mentioning, it was in spawn. But Carson looking ready, waiting on the B site.
Yeah, and I think he's just slipped the timing. Every audible cue given to Carson. Even gonna walk around, back not gonna be seen, playing this to perfection, and just gonna embarrass him. Slips up at third frag. Junior and Carson recover. What, that is a 2 versus 4?
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate for Akimbo because they get so much out of this mid fight, but then they're separated, they're disparate, they don't have anyone with map control to go onto the site proper, so everybody's still mid, and the bomb was top mid. It was back in the cubby there, so they had to go back to recover it. Whilst that was happening, Voca tracked down the one extremity player on B, and well, it's a fast change up. Not a lot Akimbo could have done. It's opening duel though. Morrow on to George, who's been incredible. He's 11-6, but served his 6th death.
Junior constant, but this time he's going to be collecting Laxey. Not loving seeing Laxey out of another round. Snav so aware of what is sneaking out of the top of connector.
Crazy move for Snav, just because he's making that move whilst we're watching Laxey take the next step. So, or rather Obi. It's just absurd that the timing happening at the same moments. Morrow, critical positioning for him. I think Neo has been hurt, but Junior, let's see what he's been doing there.
Oh, awkward walkout. Had to take a risk, though. Snav, he's going to look from the safe site to take out Morrow, and now it's on to Mason. 2-8 so far. Been a little bit quiet, but part of the pack is always pretty collective cog, I'm afraid, will just be thrown back into the machine of Snab, who will stab back at the head. 14-6 on this Mirage. When he was leading Timberman for so many years, I used to call this thing the Snab Special. Now that he's just shooting, kind of can say the same.
Yeah,
Still
it's
is.
cool to see Snab just able to be a bit of a fragger, an active piece. Cool to see Mason back on the team. Obviously, quote-unquote, retired out of that lag jersey.
That's when it started to go wrong. Let's be real.
It did over at lag.
Yeah.
You know, and that retirement more about just not enough time to commit to the game, not nearly the amount of time that lag wanted to commit. Tragedy is, I think that was the storyline of why Wolf was gone as well from that team.
Yeah.
But we were highlighting Akimbo, not a team that really pracks, so that probably is why Mason's a fit that works relatively well.
Yes, no, I've spoken to him. That is sort of the personal situation for him, so he's really happy to be back competing. Just illustrious, can't leave the server. Well, when real life comes a calling, you gotta come back. Obi, one shot back to Junior. Already standing back below this line. Maro gonna walk above, and just the right one-way smoke for Snab, yet a little bit
Only
off the line
Infinite on
there.
A. He's so dead. He's getting flanked from CT. Ridiculous kills from Obi. Not the second one, or not the way in which they get the kills, but the positioning that Obi gets those. He gets into window. Nobody from Voca has a damn clue about it, and just quick beheading of the first man in the vent.
You know, Vincent, one silver lining that I think I've found about, you know, Boss dissolving as Marsborn dissolves and collects a new roster. You know, you see likely roster changes coming to Zomblers and Lag. Like, there are a lot of good players out here that are either not on teams, on rosters sort of like this on Akimbo, that I'm sure if Laxi had another opportunity come a-calling, he would, you know, take that in a, you know, opportunity to thrive as opposed to coming back home, and maybe they can make something of this. We don't really know, but I don't know. If you were Lag tomorrow and had the opportunity to get Laxi, would you? I mean, that's obviously speculation and just putting out a name for example, right?
If you were Lag tomorrow and had the opportunity to get 60.
That's really something. I mean, who's going to get Wolfie? You know, like, is Mata willing to play again? Chop, unfortunately, retires. I would like to salute Mr. Chop for all that he's done for that project from Undefined to Marsborn. It's been really good to see what he's been able to do ever since. I feel like EG left a pretty bad, you know, taste on his career and his resume.
You know what I want to see? I want to see Lag cut Sandman and get 60, and then they can have 3 in-game leaders.
Oh my god.
You thought
where's this thing going?
Serious. You thought I was serious for a second.
Yeah, somebody has got to go. And no more Fruit Cup on the market. Who knew Janji was on the market anyway?
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I think that's a fun roster. I genuinely think that's a fun roster, and I'm willing to see how it goes.
I think I'm done
But I'm
with
more
Janji.
excited about seeing Fruit Cup and, you know, Maxwell getting a chance to be around more experienced players. I think is quite cool. Obi, Laxi, just barging in. Laxi with great leverage into the site. A double kill. Has to find the 5-7, but hurdles a man. Infinite. Can he go 2 times? He can. A third? That is just going to be the sweat off of his brow. Barely breaking it is Infinite.
Carson, he's dead. It's going to have to be Infinite. He's collected the Opto and the bomb down so far away from Morrow.
Finish out this lined up, knows where he's gunning from, has to miss it. Back on the pistol, that would be poetic. 15, walking to it. Morrow's the one that's got to make up the time. 10, and he's got this. Pistol gonna clock this, and Morrow will finish off the job. Infinite's magic had to run out at some point.
I just was about to say the irony there that Infinite, it's 5 kills he has in this half, and, you know, 2 of them was that 1v2 clutch, and 3 of them was almost this. triple kill out of nowhere. It is catching timing on the first guy and beautiful shots on the second two, where he cannot be stopped. Morrow thankfully stalls him out and does finish the job for Akimbo. Voca forced by again, and we'll try what they've got in this final round of the first half. Sheesh, we're not in overtime. What am I saying?
Bro, turn your page back.
My bad.
The script. Come on.
Sorry.
You're too far ahead.
Wait.
Who knows what Akimbo are about to do? I wish.
All right, I flipped my page. I don't know if that came through on the microphone.
Audibly, we had to clock that. Mason does find George. Gonna be that cue back from Snap to turn his head, but there's more here than meets the eye. Junior gets out with his deagle though, and they have cleared out bottom of mid. Two more players here striking at the top and kind of asleep at the wheel. That's a wash from Voca, but what else would it really be?
I want to say I was kidding, not really kidding, but, you know, half joking when I mentioned that, you know, how can Akimbo win this type of battle? Because Carson literally created this style. Not exactly, but, you know, this is the style that Nouns played for a long time when he was calling, and that's what Akimbo do. They're just hyper aggressive. They come flying at you, and so now it's just a much more knowledgeable, higher caliber version of this with Carson at the helm again with Voca. I just think that's so funny to see this matchup happen. And Akimbo, you can't out Voca.
Well said. There's just levels to this. Laxi seeing somebody spot up to him. It's Snav. Up to his 18th. Off of a pretty decent land weekend. George in that, considering really good laser to the next level. Carson is not even going to give you the chance to rotate. He's just taking the frags. Neo going to be spamming back to Snab, who'll find his head. And I'm not sure Infinite was ready for that fight. Now out of CT will be understanding this is where everybody is going to be out from Neo. A little bit ahead of the pack. I mean, Mason just getting here now, so I really feel like going too early, kind of standing on the business of that sentiment of the entire setting of this entire map, Vincent. You're just going a little too early. Probably a little too fast. And catch you out in a quick 2-0 if the way things are going on this Mirage and make to this overpass.
Probably should have been able to catch Infinite there if you're,
I agree.
If you're in that position. That's the thing. I don't think it's too early. I think it's a matter of got to take advantage of the opportunity, and we couldn't quite deliver in that scenario. Dude, it's Obi and Neo's deagles are insane, man.
Yes, they are. Stunned or Voca for the second. Knowing what they should watch out for. The Lil handed over.
That's confirmation that the Galil was taken.
Eagle gonna see it back towards Catwalk. Mason has confirmed how far they are. George not gonna be stopped. Finding that frag onto Neo. Obi. See if he can stripe up. His duel back to the rifle. He's just not even getting time of day at the moment. Snab going to take out Laxi. Bomb will go down, just evading the Molotov, but this is a Hail Mary attempt for Akimbo that they're throwing out on the pistols, and it's at this point I could say at least it wasn't the force buy, right? They're going to have this rifle round right next door.
Yeah, I mean, they never were invested in this either, so that's the thing.
Did they historically force buy, you know, prior to the, you know, Laxi leaving the team and then, you know, operations coming to a halt till money crew for him, you know? Like, I can't quite remember myself.
Sometimes. I feel like it was a 50-50, especially when they were running advanced, though. Yeah, they force bought.
Oh, totally.
That was because no one could touch them, and they were just out shooting everyone.
That was so crazy. I mean, for really what it was, I remember them winning season 50. God, when I say that, that really wasn't that long ago. What, it's like season 57 at the moment. Snav dropping down, getting those 2 kills. This is a bit ridiculous when you're seeing Snav pulling out pug plays like that. But it really was quite a team to watch. I mean, they were able to like really find a really good floor for that play style, but a very consistent ceiling. You know, I find rarely it was that Akimbo team that was able to, you know, find those upsets against teams that were, you know, significantly the overdogs in those affairs. It was just their style wasn't really going to make it work.
Well, yeah, listen, you saw it work so brilliantly, and it was so much fun to watch, and still is, to be clear. But it was obvious when they ran into a more methodical team, a team that played more standard Counter Strike, that was designed to receive those types of aggressive plays, and they just got nowhere. You know, think of like several iterations of Boss is like a really good example.
Right.
Because that's just how Benley calls and plays. But
Oh, God, don't say that name. Don't say Benley. Come on. Too soon.
all right, he's not dead, dude. He's coaching.
He's coaching. He's assistant coaching. Wild work. Snap, George. Snap into it. We may not be done in this round. Laxi is just throwing up a kill, and Mason sprinted into ladder. Laxi, don't you dare get a third. Put a stop to that. But they have not considered Neo's positioning. They've watched out everybody. But surely they shouldn't be expecting Junior to pop up with an SMG inside a window, pre-aiming it anyway. And now Mason got to finish the job. 1v1 versus Junior, but he is just too slick. Will slide with the SMG and provide another round for Voca. Is that what I hear? Is that 12? Absolutely is.
Yeah, I was kind of highlighting Akimbo's struggles against teams that are more traditional, that play a more general slow style to receive aggression. Well, it's similarly difficult against a style like Voca's, which can essentially be running their same game plan, but better.
Infinite down to Obi, Maro, and Laxi. And hard, though. Junior will tap a couple back with his FAMAS. Neo and Maro not going down too easily. Going to be necessarily up to a clutch. Back with the AKs, Junior. And we'll keep going on this Mirage.
Yeah, it genuinely feels like we're playing a little bit of deathmatch in the last couple of rounds. A lot of yappage, just for the fun of it.
Yep, definitely. Got a lot to talk about here in this NA space as a recent. You know?
Yeah.
And I would say that I think it was cool to see Bentley like coming back and playing a little bit for Boss back in that iteration, but I mean that had me really confused every time I was kind of watching that Boss team. It kind of feels like maybe they knew something was about to happen. Changes were coming through. I don't feel like something like that changed overnight. Laxi gonna go back. George even dinked him, I think, through the wall. So that's going to be a little bit frustrating for George. Junior around this corner. Shots back on an Infinite. They got a man flashed, and now they've completely fried him. Laxi back towards jungle as well. Molly's going to go deep.
Post plant looks good. The position as well for Voca. Jungle. I don't know that I see a world to get back in here.
And you're over the top. Will just splash Mason and Laxi in coordination. Back to CCT. Voca breeze through this Mirage. They got Akimbo's map pick. Overpass, where we roll out the die for map number 2, Voca's map selection, and where they would like to just pierce it from map number 1 through to the 2nd and send themselves to regain semifinal.
What'd you roll? You said you rolled out the die? What was the number?
This is 2. This is map 2. 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I thought you rolled like a D20 or something.
A D20. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you crit?
A D12.
Snap did. Snap just crit.
Oh my!
Wait, he is critting. Wait, this is insane. Double, triple headshot, baby. No biggie.
Maybe he's not done. Maybe he hasn't bossed up quite enough yet. Mason taking a couple of shots as he comes up long. Will find Junior out on that corner. Voca on this T side are going to make things bloody out in less than 45.
Dude, it's so funny to me, Infinite continuing to click his mouse and just being confused by why he has no bullets. Dude, nice shots from Snap. Love that. Will be Voca rocking up for a good opening victory on this T side. Yeah, Voca's overpass, especially here at home, has been relatively untouchable. The only people who've really troubled them on it locally is Wildcard and M80. And that was, you know, for that second when Wildcard were like back to being good again.
You're talking about with this current roster?
Yeah, like they were aight for a sec there.
Yeah, like they did reach for a little bit better of a queue before they did remove. Gosh, who was it? I can't remember. For obviously
Clasia.
Nemanja joining. Ah, yes. How could I forget?
Your goat.
Yeah. How could I specifically forget?
I don't
As
know
I have
how.
been on this CCT many times trying to fight for Clasia, and he did do well.
Yeah.
He just,
yeah. Oh, he did.
I mean,
did he? He did really. Oh.
I mean, he got those opportunities. He just, you know, in those like interviews, you just kind of saw a guy that like, you know,
Classiest stats on
just
Wild
stopped
Card.
like. I mean, obviously dropped off statistically, even was in different roles on like the end of those cryptic rosters. But this is a guy that unfortunately just kind of stopped liking the game. You saw him talk about that on top of maybe some of the other reasons. It would have been a nice career for Clasia.
1.04
I'm happy
rating,
he didn't
by
stop
the way.
trying.
1.04 rating on Wildcard.
There's a lot of talent over there.
Vindicated. Okay. Vindicated.
Yes, Nemanja hopped over there. Recent good alter. What was that tier 1 event? Was it also Bucharest? It is currently slipping my
Wildcard
mind. Yes, it did well. Yes. See,
I mean,
what I'm saying.
well is like a strong word. Yeah, they did.
Well, I think we're saying for, you know, where we're standing as North American pundits, Vincent. You know, that's good improvement.
True. That's true.
And I did see Diha leave ill will. I know he was very mad about Nemanja leaving. Who's laughing now? Infinite spams out to Neo.
Dude, never mind. I was gonna say something mean, and I take it back.
Got nothing nice to say, Vinny.
Don't say it. You know, my mama taught me just as well.
Talk about Money Mason, though. Swinging around this corner. He's got a couple of players, 1 HP. He's not going to go and be too aggressive, though. Mason will get a third here. Should be cut up by Snav, but George and Snav are going to go as a duo. Laxi is going to depart into a 1 versus 2. Planted for him, but there's a smoke up. And Laxi should be a mystery, as they should have not gotten an audible cue off of the door closing. They're just way too far. Laxi, no kit.
A little far away. Snav has just run off to. George.
Oh,
deeper.
wow.
What a ridiculous swing from Snav. All good. Victorious. George and Snav yet to die. Won't start there. 3 rounds straight. As the gun round is just as simple. Nutty headshot to open that, by the way. To get that 5-on-3 was incredible, and Mason does his best to recover it. It was $1,200 extra that he got. Help him afford another MP9.
Okay, what helps Wildcard here was getting the forfeit win versus FaZe. I think it looks a little bit better than what actually went down inside of their performance, but
100%.
Love seeing so many, opportunities come through when you see that. I know the reporters came out for a couple of events as invites have come out recently, like 8 out of the top 10 teams don't accept the invite for X event. You know, I think we always have to look at the silver lining of more experience coming up to, you know, many teams will even come through to shooting the CCT. What? Season 3 champions of Series 1 and Series 2 afoot, obviously just won a Tier 1 event. Navi Jr. at the time.
That
They're
is
quite cool.
true. Beautiful stuff, man. I honestly,
Yeah.
I love that storyline so much.
Symmetry, the MVP. I think if you were telling me Symmetry would be the one that win the MVPs too, like
I would have called you
that's
crazy.
a guy that's really improved. It's
I would have
wild.
called you insane. No, I was defending Symmetry for a long time. I was there.
Back on B, back to NA, back to Akimbo. 3 kills off the cusp, 2v5. They surely can't mess this up. They don't. A flawless win to flatten the B play.
Well, they needed something like that. Now, I guess that's one way to do it. Voca for the first time hitting the B side, then in the map, and they just get rocked. Voca, nothing too special about that attack. An execute and technicality only. It's a little bit lacking, but they haven't needed to do much of anything other than run the aim duels. So can't really blame them for trying that over on the B site.
Neo will get that frag led onto Carson. Nice opener. Right off the rib, putting pressure on this T side. Catching pretty run-in-the-mill boost. Infinite's seen that 10,000 times. Is going to just put it back to a 4v4. Barrow. How far is he wanting to go? Barrow and Mason. I'm afraid Eminem, they're just going to go down to this spray. Morrow does survive. Junior provided the back. He's showing up a little fashionably late, and they'll love it. The bomb on his back needed to get here clean anyhow. Obi and Neo back on the way.
I find it funny that Junior hops off the bomb plant just to go swing, throw that additional Molotov, hold back Neo and Obi.
Snap knows they're both here now. I mean, shooting out of this corner, you're going to have no chance. Neo can run away with that kill. Probably a crazy man for sticking around and even waiting for this smoke to fade away in heaven. He's just got to box this op away, I'm afraid. Junior might see him as he's fading away. That's a bit of a punishment that comes back down. Junior will likely be without that op in the next round. Not for nothing.
They got money, though. To be fair. And they haven't really needed it. He picked it up off the ground. No, he didn't. I've told a lie. My bad. But still, Akimbo, one victory followed by defeat. It ain't gonna be enough. Especially not with Voca on the T side. I mean, I know that it's sort of such a tired talking point, but I'll say it again. T side, Voca 5 rounds. That's already pretty good.
I feel like they're just getting started as well. Infinite lurking into short. Just made contact back with Laxi. Voca aren't going to be, dissolving too much. It feels like apart from that B play and the pistol hit that was straight up towards A, they've just been going through the motions on this default. Coming up big every time. Flash over the top. Obi, he'll be stuck in the fighter. There's no running away from this. George, Snav, together. They got Neo right around. It's a good flick. He gets real close to George right there, but George and Snav, they're tied now in their top frag race at 8 apiece, both of them. Mason will put a stop to that for Snav personally, but Nason is going to need more than this. If he goes further than just checking flower pots, is going to be seeing them, absolutely knowing that they're at the very tippy top of connector, leaving now. Mason still in this altercation. Infinite finds a double entry, and how fantastic is that?
Me and Voca are basically taking both bomb sites. That is insanity once again. And you will miss, but round is dead. And he had backup for him, George. It's just speed, and Voca know that they don't really have to do anything crazy on this T side. Akimbo, it's only aggression that they have been putting together. And the bare minimum, the basics will do. Voca basically speed running this thing right now.
Yeah, I think it's a really good way of putting it. It is what it is. They're a quality team. It should be nothing but this. Flatline, Voca run this overpass through. I know we were talking about it in the green room, right? You're only getting trouble here from, you know, the wild cards of the world. Teams that are, like, at their level. Laxi is going to be looking deep into the corner here. Happy he did to have short control. Infinite's been giving him a lot of grief from there.
I don't know that Morrow had much of a chance there, but at least he's escaped. Won't be able to stay out for long.
Neo onto George. Snap does spam back. 2 versus 3. And Obi, it's going to have to be him or nothing. Snap in a 1 versus 1. Obi back to it. Swing and get this 1 versus 1. Snap, this is a standard 4K following procedure. 1 bomb plant. Go and never tell a lie. This is the truth from Snap. Smoke out to his left side. And when is he confidently going to go for this peek? Didn't give it here. Exposed that wood wall. And Obi will make peace with it. A second here. Akimbo have found both of their wins here on the B site.
Good finds. I mean, it's an Obi clutch. Feels like they needed something. They required one of these types of victories. Great clear from Laxi. Execute looked good though, and just basically all because of Obi that it ends up in failure. Voca good for another full buy. Akimbo barely that. It's Morrow and Mason having to tank an MP9 in order to get utility. They can afford to give up some of that utility on the T side, but the CT side, that's just not really the case.
I think Obi was meant to have the option whether to just get involved or keep it in consideration of a play like this. Snap getting active, but what is Junior found? I mean, this will leave a frown on the faces of Akimbo if they're not just bloody on the ground. Akimbo got Obi and Laxi together back in connector. I wasn't sure where the Opper had rotated, but now I'm going to have to come back as Obi lost his life.
Surely not. Another opportunity here for Akimbo to start to build back into the CT side. George going searching out over towards A. Bomb still needs to be grabbed. Needs to be recovered. Yo. So crazy that he's here, man.
In connector. Willing to put his life on the line, I'm afraid. It's not going to work out for him. But regardless, this thing is going to come to Laxi. They don't have time to bring this bomb back from Monster up to A. And honestly, taking his sweet time with it is Infinite. Just get this bomb back now. The thing is that George is going to pop back through heaven, so they're not actually going to clear into Graffiti. Infinite will still be able to get up to the site, but this isn't a secured plant because of this gap. And Laxi has just let it slip. Infinite will take advantage of that. And Laxi, we are looking for a luxury moment from you. That was an opportunity that I'm pretty sure he's not going to get back, Vincent. That's Voca up to 7.
I mean, this is ridiculous. For them to win in that fashion, Infinite just creating chaos for Voca. Akimbo had no answer. And where Akimbo had 2 MP9s last round, they've got 3 this round. Obi gets an up, but it's a up without any Kevlar, and it's dead already. No way to recover it. Neo, far from help.
Man. This is hard to watch at times, but you had to expect this. Still have a player up towards that A side. I'm afraid that it will just be 1-1 on each end. Still got Morrow down to hold it with Mason up top. The Mongolians have all just fallen. George onto Mason. Voca up to an 8th round here through 10.
hard to feel like you just have to keep repeating these things, but yeah, very impressive for Voca.
He was gonna knife
Tomorrow.
him.
Yeah,
That's
it was.
come on.
Yeah, it was.
All
Dude,
good.
I said something last night on the mic with Zola, where Cameron, whom you know quite well, he like was making a move to get up close behind two guys who both had their back turned, and I said I think he was trying to knife them, and then
I
you know.
watched that. And I was watching while I was eating
All
my
right,
box combo.
So,
I even told you, and you had to
do you
convince
defend
Zola
me?
that that was within the character. It absolutely was. Yes, you
Okay,
were right.
thank you.
Yeah, I remember that. I was laughing
Vindicated.
so hard.
Because listen, the smart thing to do would be what Zola was saying, which was get closer,
Absolutely.
make sure that you could, you know, get the full kill, not just the goosh. But not my goat Cameron.
Yeah. I don't know.
Dude,
that is
did
just
you see
crazy.
that?
That is just
Imminent.
crazy.
He's just sprinting through the volley, maximum disrespect. There's no pretense anymore. This is Voca just running Akimbo down.
I mean, they know that a team like this is going to be full of aimers, full of fraggers, right? And they're willing to, I feel like, threaten on that precipice, embarrass them a bit. You know, maybe a moment like this, Voca know that they're, you know, so far above the level of a team like Akimbo. Maybe a beatdown like this can be a little boring. They're having a little bit of fun right now, making sure that their foot is fully on their necks. Bam! What a damn round from Infinite. That is just insane. This is looking like a 5Q pug. Moment after moment, Vincent.
To be honest with you, I think this has devolved even beyond that point. To a certain degree. You know, inherently the pug's supposed to be pretty balanced. That's the idea, right? We don't get there all the time.
Idea.
But we try. We
Waxy
can balance
3 and
things out
10.
here.
Come on. Provide a little bit of something. That's a bit of balance. A 2K out of Laxy. You know, you'd love to see him individually thrive and just have a great game to base it off of, but just not seeing it. Junior on the run. Honestly, something so underrated about Junior, and probably something that we really don't see enough too. I mean, him and Neo both are pretty damn talented players, just bided to their reputation being much more than an opper. I mean, Junior is really good on that rifle.
Yeah, it's true. I think that's actually maybe not underrated, but been a quality that's somewhat forgotten in the Junior renaissance that we're currently living in.
This is true. Alongside the Infinite Resident. Look, I mean, it's all happening at the same time. You know, back to play, hitting career numbers. You know, Snav, in-game leadership taken off of him for 6 months and let the beast out of his cage, right? There's a lot of factors that has led Voca to the improvement that they've seen over the last 3 months flat.
No doubt. Games like this where Akimbo are just a non-factor, though, it's not so much of a necessity to go back to the lower Counter-Strike. Don't need that. Play with speed, precision, in there and rock and roll.
Hitting harder, Akimbo, with these pistols, and a moment to pause and consider that this thing ain't gonna be too quickly after Junior is just dwindled. Not gonna be too quickly cut out. Akimbo, they got a pistol.
Yeah, and it's by no small part to Laxy, who, like you just said, he's been really lackluster this map and this best of 3. You know, looking back to that Mirage, Laxy was the second lowest rated player. And in 16, that's not the guy that we typically anticipate, that we expect. I also feel like Laxi almost has to go back and unlock this style of play again.
Morrow,
Like,
Mason. Completely watching this thing out. All right, I think I cut you off from a very articulate point before the snap 1v3.
Hold on, I'm not convinced yet. This snap 1v3 is, never mind. He's got his knife out for fun. But no, the point that I was making is that, like, you know, Laxi had to go into that Rave project and sort of learn how to play the game at a real level. That may sound a bit disrespectful, but it's not meant to be. But Laxi's previous team experience isn't super significant, like historically, and so under Cryptic, he was playing a very different style, being a piece, you know, being a role. That's not something that is really a big talking point for Akimbo. Oh my
gosh. Not like this, surely. Just the upgraded pistols, not even the Kevlar to come alongside them. Mason will get his hands back on to the bomb, but Morrow has one top of connector, and I feel like that's the risk averted.
Well, okay. It might not be fully averted. Carson's in a great spot to get a kill.
Oh no.
That's once again, AKA should be grabbable. Carson. Just actually going to leave that alone for the time being. Infinite has a deal. He's on the wrong site currently, but I guess that will mean that he has plenty of time to grab a gun, of which there are plenty up there over at A. Akimbo, reasonable, but taking their time about getting themselves onto this A site.
Carson just got that AK. And now with that smoke, they know exactly what's happening. Can't tell who it is. It's going to be Infinite that's going to be walking up towards Long. Kind of gotta get going. Get a pep in that step. Walk all the way here. Already a quarter ticked off the bomb.
Yeah, this doesn't leave them a lot of time.
Carson just saw him surely walking through the dumpster smoke, right? I mean, information averts you here, sure, but it's still going to be a very difficult defuse 10 seconds, and gotta find the line on either of these players. Infinite back can be turned here. Carson does have it onto Mason, smoke down, and now that the pistol's out of bullets on the rifle, Laxi, he's pulled the knife, and right now cannot find Infinite in the smoke until the very end. Have it at the last minute second.
That's insane. That's so crazy, Akimbo. They almost lose to the pistols. Oh, not the force buy. Just the eco round. It's a deagle or two. Thankfully, crisis averted via the shank. He
wouldn't have had it anyway, right?
I actually think he didn't have it yet.
All good.
But, you know, for the storyline.
For the drama.
Yeah.
We'll have that. Okay. They definitely had a fair share there. Opening kills found through Infinite, finding that boost. Obi taken away from Junior. Start to the real CT side by Voca. They're going to poke George's head up again. 3 versus 5 in less than 40 seconds. That was wild. He swung off of the HE into the smoke.
Good stuff. That is.
Oh, nice shot, Mason.
Yeah, it is. Carson, a little lackadaisical in his positioning.
Yeah, George should have him coming up to it. Needed that contact, so Infinite, he's going to go looking for it. Just going to find Morrow. Untradeable position from Neo. But still, maybe to his own benefit. Not known in this position. Is just going to be hitting Infinite through the wall. Going to be feeling a little bit of this utility as well. The A4 has gotten down to the first floor, and George leaves another body on it. A triple kill out from George in this round. That was a pretty classy shot out from Neo, and then, you know, Mason followed it up with that frag. This was headed somewhere from Akimbo. But headed to 11 in Voca's pockets.
Fantastic. Beautiful stuff, and a recovery of a round where I thought, Morrow and Mason both made some pretty impactful plays, and it didn't amount to much of anything. It's not in the end.
Now Mason walking through. It's a good headshot onto Infinite, but it's a flash that Carson will pull from the wood wall. Looks good. Or that first kill. Up on the antics. A little bit more that Akimbo got on their pistols. Can they cause the terror that Voca did?
Maybe. And they're one step in that direction, most certainly, but you need more where that came from. The bomb not here at B. Neo's still deep within A over in playground. Really unsure what Akimbo's plan is here, because it just feels like they're doing a whole lot of nothing. They're doing a lot of something, but it's really amounting to nothing.
There's bone in George's body that is tempting him to go for the smoke. Junior onto Neo. Laxi will just explore with 2 HP and a deagle. Yeah, I really agree. It's like, what is the benefit of leaving Morrow here for Laxi to just go get the bomb himself? I mean, they could potentially meet back up pretty quickly, but, I mean, that's not happening. Morrow's going to go and try and pull something here on the B side. Headshot. And Laxi gone. That's 12. 1 round away from a semifinal versus Regain or Voca.
I mean, this is Voca looking just untouchable. This is
there's no worry from them back here at a LAN, right? I mean, coming back in a couple days ago, back to online, not missing a beat, I think is exactly what we wanted to see.
100%.
Haven't played an online match since the very 1st of March. Wow, in HLTV officials. That is really insane. Junior onto Mason in this time and fading away. Akimbo are throwing their bodies at the bunch, and hey, it'll be Junior that burns to the deagle of Laxi, who's gonna get these final frags. I'm talking about for Voca, getting way too ahead of myself. We're showing up to a 1v3 clutch, but you won't be expecting Neo here. Surely not.
Dude, closer than it should have been, that's for sure. Yeah, I hate those incendiaries too.
I want the Super Molly. Get out of here.
Super Molly.
Super Molly. Well, the 6, Vincent. Are you satisfied?
Yeah, pretty satisfied, to be honest. Could have been out of here probably a round ago, but Voca, a little bit of a stumble. Nice shot, though, from Laxi to get them there, to be fair.
Laxi doesn't see anybody in his little peer up from short. Junior is so consistent from Divider, getting his 16th of the game. Voca showing this quality, concern of a trap game, I think really flies out the window with how I see the care coming to this level in the quarterfinal. Next couple of steps are going to be Regain and then Aether. Right, we know from the special circumstance of our other semifinal, that's exactly how it's going to go.
Yeah, you were saying that. Are you sure? Are you certain about that?
Yeah, I mean, Marsborn allegedly all hate each other and are not on the match page. So I am going to say that is not happening.
Yeah, okay. Well, fair enough.
We shall see. But about this, I don't think so. About an ace from a Junior. Wouldn't that be a little fancy to finish it out? Not going to happen. It's an MP9 that will put Voca